Salutations and welcome back. It is I, Josh, the Tech Chief, and this is the Project Freedom Podcast where I have liberty to discuss. Yes, that's right, guys. Me. Have the liberty to discuss whatever it is that I want to discuss. And tonight, I'm going to be talking to you guys about, is it the best time, the worst time? Is there ever a good time to learn how to code? The reason I want to talk about this is because, believe it or not, and this isn't to disparage anybody out there who has asked me this before, but I've had people and more people recently slide into my DMs and they'll ask me point blank, when is the best time to learn how to code? And all right, so spoiler alert, there's no answer to that question, all right? Especially if that question doesn't have any context. Like if you don't tell me like where you are in the world, what you're currently doing, have you ever like done anything with software or a computer before other than just like checking your email, how old you are, because all these things are going to be able to give a better answer in response to that question. But fact of the matter is, really, guys, no matter what your situation is, there really is no answer to that. When is the best time to learn how to code? Okay. I'm going to talk to you guys about, like I said, there's different people in different categories. And I think that, depending upon what bucket that you lie in one of these categories, that your answer is going to be a little bit different. However, one thing I want to note, and I talked about this on a stream with Ryan from Elevate Cyber. Actually, it wasn't a live stream. I went and we recorded a video on his channel. And you guys can go and check his channel out and go see that if you want. But was talking about like the markets and in particular the crypto markets and how they're not doing very well. And to be quite frank, no markets are doing well right now, guys. Like the housing market is looking like it's about to take a big fat steaming dump, and the equities market is not doing good. Pretty much anything is not doing good. On top of that, the dollar is appearing to go up in value, but I think we all know. I think you guys all know how I feel about that. Christian Soto in the house says, good evening. Good evening, my friend. May I put my pinky in the air for you, sir? And by the way, that is a 10 out of 10 Jeffrey sticker in the chat. The Broncopocalypse sticker. That is hilarious. So guys, back to what I was saying about Ryan and when I went on his channel and what we talked about. And I was discussing with him how him and I both know like several people who have either people that we already knew or people that have came to us. And these were people that basically had ended up quitting their jobs to be like full-time crypto. Okay. Now, if I'm being honest, there is no such thing as like full-time. There's no such thing as like doing crypto full-time. All right. I might catch some flack for that out there, and I'll explain why. Okay. I'll explain why I believe this, but point of this is, guys, is like if you're gonna just go, if you're working a job, no matter what it is, okay, even if you're working as a barista at Starbucks and you're making like $7.25 an hour, why would you quit whatever it is that you're doing and just because you made like you made some money in the crypto market or whatever equities, whatever market that you're in, okay, even if you were in like the Perrier, the sparkling water flipping swing trading market, okay. Why would you quit what you're doing just to do that? Just to do that, and even though we all know that the economy itself is in constant ebbs and flows, and that our economy is basically at the whims right now of a bunch of let's just say not so very smart people. Either they're not so very smart, or they're actually just that. They're very smart and they know exactly what they're doing, but why would you do that and not have a backup plan, or at least have something in your back pocket that you can use to go ahead and generate yourself some cash if and when things go sour? And like I told him, and he had the same thing. He had the same issue as me. Wrong mic. Thank you for letting me know. There we go. I told him, and he apparently had the same thing as me. We both had several people who have just new clients who basically came to us and they were like, yeah, we were full-time crypto and we're basically doing we're basically trying to learn either how to code or how to get into cybersecurity or et cetera, just basically wanting to get a decent job that they can get some good money in, as opposed to just living off of whatever is left of their bags. So one thing I wanted to point out, and I know that was a little long-winded, one thing I wanted to point out about that is, at least with things like cybersecurity, software engineering, basically almost anything in IT in general, seriously, like anything in IT in general, economics don't really affect our industry as much. I'm not saying that it doesn't affect it at all. That doesn't affect our industry as much as it does other industries, and there's a reason for that, okay? Now, the reason is because our industry is similar to, let's just say, something like a commodity, like oil, like wheat, like air, if air was an industry, okay? Because people need wheat to make food with, right? And people, companies, truckers, everybody needs crude oil to be able to ship things from point A to point B, to be able to go and travel from point A to point B, to basically do daily life function. And do you guys know what else it is that happens to be required in the world, at least as far as 2022 standards, for daily life function? And that is computers. And did you guys know what happens to run and dictate all the things that computers do? Well, that's right, friends. That would be software. And you can't just make software appear out of thin air. You have to have some kind of driving entity behind it, either engineering it or creating it or assembling it together. So that does not mean that our industry could be affected minutely if there were some kind of massive amounts of layoff all throughout the planet. However, at the bare minimum, if you are in this industry, you can rest assured that you're going to be affected far less than almost every other industry. And simply put, guys, because computers are required to do almost everything. Everybody uses a computer. I'm using a computer right now to communicate with you guys, whether you guys are listening to this YouTube stream on your computer or on a phone, or even if you're like, I don't know, in a car, using like your car's Wi-Fi. Either way, there's multiple computers, okay? More than one that's relaying the message that I'm talking to you guys right now. And what's allowing the computers to do that is software. Cody Moose in the Who says boom. And boom to you too, indeed, Sam. MC's says, do you think they will give out more stimulus? Man, that's a good question. At this point, no, I don't think they will. I think that was just I think that was just kind of like a thing to kind of keep the coffers at bay. From, I mean, what happened? Everyone was stuck inside, right? And everything got locked down and shut down. And a lot of people, although something, a secret, guys. I don't think anyone's going to tell you guys this, but a lot of the places that closed down probably didn't really need to close down, because there was things that were open, like Walmart and fast food, and it made no sense where other things were closed down. But regardless, they closed down. So a lot of places were closed down, and some people, quite frankly, just weren't legally not allowed to work, or if not like legally, by their company policy, they were not allowed to work. So we had to get some USD airdrops. So do I think they're going to do it again? So like at this point, if they did it, I wouldn't be surprised, right? I probably would just yawn. I would just yawn emoji, but I don't think they will. Psychopaths, indeed, Sam, you're correct. Harry is also correct about the fact that I had the wrong mic. It wasn't that bad. Well, it was the iMac mic, Cody Moose in the Who. So I hope that for the whatever amount of money I pay for this thing, the mic would be decent. But you know what? Apple loves to like make like 99% of things good as far as like hardware and stuff, and then like 1% of something will be fucking awful, absolutely awful. By the way, Cody Moose, speaking of something similar, so the Bronc, for how much money that thing costs with the trim level and everything that's on it, to come, like, even if it's considered a decent sound system, to have a car that costs that much money come with like paper speakers,
That's like the same thing. It's like how the fuck do you cheap out? Like what did you guys save by doing that? Did you guys save like 50 cents per vehicle? Like, all right. Riley Jones in the hoose. What's good, Riley? You too, Eric. What is good? You don't think so either? Yeah, I mean, like I said, dude, if they did it, I wouldn't be surprised. All right, I wouldn't be surprised, but if they didn't, I don't willing to bet that they're probably not going to do it. Christian Soto says Walmart had everyone like sardines in aisles. Yeah, dude, I remember those days. Guys, can you guys believe that? That was like that's in the past now, guys. It's in the past. Although I'm sure that they would love to do it again though. Hello from the gym. What up, Harry? Hope you are indeed crushing that juicy gym session. The M1 Air's webcam is trash. SMH, yeah. The Pro is trash too. The Pro is trash too. Factory sound systems are trash. Indeed, my friend. Indeed, yes. So, guys, to note on that economical part, like I have had quite a few people not only ask me the question, like, and people were asking me that question before this whole thing even started, but I have indeed had people, and so has Ryan, who have come to us and they're like, basically, hey, like we quit our job or because of crypto and we were doing good, and now all of a sudden things are turning sour. So, that is something to take note in regards to everything that I'm explaining tonight. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, if learning to code is something that you are actually interested in doing, or whether that's code or cybersecurity or just anything in IT in general, if you were to say, like, okay, when is the best time to learn to code? Again, back to the beginning of the stream, like there's no definitive answer for that. All right. Maybe I could give you a more realistic answer if I had some details on you. But if that is something you're learning how to do or you wanting to learn how to do, okay, and you just like, oh, well, someone told me that now is not the right time to learn how to code, or that I should wait till the sun and the stars and the moon align, and it's 11/11 2021 2011, I don't know, to do it, then what you're really just doing is you're just kicking a can down the road. Speaking of kicking cans down the road, guys, what do we know that the Federal Reserve loves to do? But I know that was great, guys. I know you guys stop laughing. I know it was funny. You guys don't have to laugh, all right? You don't have to laugh that hard, all right? So if that is something that you're interested in doing and you're just like, you instead of just starting somewhere, then you're just kicking the can down the road. And what you're actually doing, the older you get, the longer you take, the more you push that off, it's just going to be something that's going to compile and get harder and harder and harder. And that's not just with learning how to code. That's literally with like anything in life. If you're wanting to do something in life that you desire to do, or you would at least like to try to do, and you don't go ahead and do it, like, you just like, okay, I'll do it another time. I'll do it another time. I gotta wait till the right time. When is the right time? Then you're just gonna make it harder in the end. That's all you're doing. With that being said, however, with that being said, I still think there are some times that maybe not specifically learning to code is a timely thing to do, but just being in the industry itself is timely. So, for example, like I was just saying, for people that were like, well, like I don't have a game plan. Some other stuff that I had going on went sour, and I don't really have a game plan. Then, if you had already begun the process to learn how to code, maybe you already got as far as getting in the industry, then that's the industry is timely, or rather, it's not timely. It's evergreen. It's evergreen. So if you had that in your back pocket, at the very least, even if you didn't want to become a traditional W-2 wagee, then you could at the very least go and pick up some contracting jobs or do some freelance work. Like, heck, at the very, very least, you could have gone to like Gitcoin and like, or you could have done some Gitcoin bounties or something and got paid in like USDC or whatever. Harry McGuire Jr. says it's, quote, never too late. Is, quote, never too late a BS quote? Some people I know have changed careers in IT in their 40s. Yeah. So, and I guess, well, I was going to touch on that in a second, but I guess we can talk about that now. So it's true. Like, it is, quote unquote, never too late, especially when it comes to like an industry that has a large necessity of people, and quite frankly has a larger need of people to be in it than there actually is people to fill those positions. All right, especially with all the different niches in the industry. Yes, it's not an undoable thing. I mean, we've had like one or two guys, older people in their 40s, come and learn, and now they're off doing their own thing. Although one of those two people, I will say they were basically already in IT, and it was a little bit easier of a thing for them to do because they were already like a computer type person. But it is never too late. Like, however, we have to be realistic with humans, right? So like if you're like in your 40s and you're like, I want to be the number one bodybuilder on the planet, I want to be Mr. Olympia. Well, like, okay, at that point, like we have to be realistic. Like, there's no amount of like of roids you can take at 40 to go from someone who's like never ever done anything with like bodybuilding period to being like Mr. Olympia, right? Unless you're like that 0.0000001% of the population, which probably doesn't even exist anymore, then that would be the case. But yes, Harry, this is true. Sam says the best time to learn to code was the height of the bull market in October during the Great Resignation. Yep. Yeah, that was a good time indeed. The best time passed. The second best time is right now. Yes, that's always the case, guys. So like if there is a best time, then the other best time is literally like now. And it's always going to be now because like I said, and this isn't just with code, all right? If there's anything in life that you want to do and you're just like prolonging it because you're like trying to look and ask, you're basically, when you ask people like, when should I start doing this or that? Like, you're really just looking for affirmation for someone to give you the green flag that like what you think that you want to do is not stupid. And in reality, we're all adults here. You don't need other people to think that you're stupid or not think that you're stupid to go and do what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, it's your life and you can do whatever the hell it is you want to do. So don't let that fool you. So yes, Harry Maguire Jr., speaking of that, like if you are older, like you could make this argument. Okay, so one thing I do want to say about the age things too. If you're a Zoomer, meaning like you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20, when do Zoomers, what's the cutoff for Zoomers? I don't know, probably like 23, right? I think a 23-year-old now would still be like is that a millennial, guys? Or is that a Zoomer? Let's just say 16 to 22. When to 22? Most likely, you're probably not doing anything. All right. If I look at myself back when, I mean, I was in college back then, but I was, I was being a shithead in college, like all other college kids, like all other kids that age are. Okay. And the good thing is, if this is something that you do want to do and you are very young, here's why it's even better for you to start now, because you have a large allotment of time. Okay. I've had people who've came to me and they're like in their mid 30s and they got, a baby on the way and they got all this and that, and they have to rush and expedite the process. And it's not a bad thing to have pressure underneath you and to need to expedite the process of like trying to get a better job via learning how to code or anything, any kind of hard skill. Okay. It's not a bad thing. In fact, some people that might be a good thing. But if you're a Zoomer, you have all this extra allotment of time. And because of that, like you don't have to worry about anything for probably the next like 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10 years, depending on your actual age. So you don't have to stress and you can take your time and you don't have to rush. And thus, because of that, you'll actually learn better and you'll be clearer mentally. So the whole process for you, if you're younger, to me, it's like it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer if you're younger and it's something you want to do. Definitely don't wait. Definitely don't wait until like you are in your late 20s or whatever, because then you're gonna have extra pressure underneath you, and you also lost time, right? Maybe you're like, well, I don't care about pressure. I work good under pressure. I mean, a lot of people do. I work good under pressure too, but like time is something you cannot get back. Sam says devs were quitting left and right to do full-time crypto and develop their own projects. Yeah, but the thing is, most of them they were devs, right? So like they at the very end, at the end of the day, they have a skill that they can go get income if uh, things didn't turn out well for them, right? Not everybody was fortunate enough to have a skill like that, and a lot of people were, and or maybe still are, left wondering like what the hell it is I'm going to do. Kudamu says I think it's like 26. Well, let's just whatever. Let's just say 23. Zoomers were born 1996 to 2011. 1996. Damn, that's almost. I thought that was like a millennial. Shoo. Okay, but let's say what about if the other end of the spectrum, maybe you're in your 40s. So if you've already waited till you're in your 40s, all right? So now like you have this option. You can wait until you're 80. And do you think that if you waited until you were 80, that your chances would be better or worse? I think most likely that they're going to be probably worse. All right, unless you get Neuralink, and then all of a sudden your brain is just like it was when you were 20 again, right? But yeah, that's an issue right there too, right? And you're going to have all this extra pressure. Even if you don't wait till if you wait till you're 82, then you're going to have even more pressure, right? But if you're in your 40s and you already waited this long, you are going to have extra pressure. However, the answer to that question is still going to be like the best time. If that's something that you want to do, the best time is literally to make haste and to not delay and to start now. Because like I said, not just with learning any code, literally anything at that point, you're just going to be kicking a can down the road. You think a sales job is also good? I don't think that they're bad, but I mean, like, let's just be honest. Like, what depends on what are you selling? Because if we're in a recession and revenue is down and people aren't buying things as much, then are you selling software? If you're selling software, then I'm going to say that's probably going to be a lot less problematic. That's probably going to be you're probably going to be better off than people trying to sell, I don't know, like cars, right? Or I don't know, canned tuna. Well, we might not have a canned tuna sales problem in the next year. I don't know. We'll have to see. Off topic, but at what age do you plan to retire? Man, I was thinking about this the other night. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Because like that's another thing too. Like, what is this whole retirement thing? Now, obviously, life isn't all about just working, right? But I think that the whole like retirement thing, as it is, like I like what is the word retirement? It's like when someone quits their career and they go and live off of like a 401k or whatever savings or investments that they have. Like, is that something that was even existent like 200 years ago? Or did people just like, when they got older, they just ended up having enough like padding underneath them to where they're like, I'm 75 today. And like, I kind of just want to go outside and fish, and I don't really want to go plow the fields anymore because my back hurts. Right? Like I already have a house. My kids are already like out of the door, and they're all good. So like maybe I just don't. I don't think it was like they have this thing where, because what is retirement now? People like they have a set age where they do that. They plan on like retiring and this and that, right? People had wives and kids 200 years ago. This is true. This is true, man. This is very, very true. Very true. But what age would I don't know, man. I would like to be, here's what I would like. Here's what I would like. I would like by the age of like 45 for me to, if I chose not to work, which I would probably not choose, because like as much as I overload myself with work now and as stressed as I make myself that I don't need to, if I'm doing nothing, believe it or not, if I'm doing nothing, I actually feel like 10 times more stressed for whatever reason. I just can't sit still. All right. I just can't. I would like people to have all of my businesses automated and good by then. And if I didn't want to do anything, I wouldn't have to, because they would be taken care of and I would have people, helping me out. But at the same time, if I also wanted to, be a part of everything, then I could choose to go ahead and do that. And I would also like to be able to like, passively like help create businesses and other things like that. even up until my 40s and 50s. Like, because if I'm feeling all right, then like, why stop? Sales jobs are hit or miss. Yep. This is for true. Like, again, it depends on what field. Like, if you're selling software, you're probably not gonna have a problem, right? So for the people out there that were in that situation, that were in that predicament, that maybe they something fell underneath them and they don't have a game plan, and they're not like they don't have the time or money to go back to school for 4 or 5 years, and they don't know what to do, especially in times like now when there's all this economical like uncertainty. Being in this industry, you have an advantage, because I would say that this industry is somewhat quote unquote recession proof. Okay. Now, like I said at the beginning of the stream, doesn't mean that no matter what you're doing, you're gonna be okay. But I would say that at the very least in this industry, you're gonna have a leg up upon other ones. So it's times like these right now, guys, that really not just software or IT, cybersecurity, whatever, just having any kind of true hard skill is really going to shine through the dirt, as opposed to just like, well, I was hoping for my GameStop stonks to go to the moon and I was to retire. Like, and oh yes, I'm glad I remember this. So when I was saying like earlier on the stream, when the bull run was like creeping up there, okay, I was doing okay. I was doing very good. All right. I was working my traditional job, because at the time I was still a software engineer. Okay. And my bags were very baggy. They're I had very, very baggy bags. All right. My bags were loaded. They were packed and loaded. And I had just sold a house that I was probably up about 6 figures on. And I was doing DD and still doing courses. So I had, if I wanted to, I probably could have quit doing everything that I wanted to do and had enough cash put aside to be okay for longer than I could need. All right. But my thinking was like this, and this is what I don't understand when people, if people chose to do that. And I know everybody is not the same as me. People don't have the same desires as I do. But my thinking was, like, why would I quit my job or quit working for income? Why would I quit trying to source income because of crypto? Why would I turn any faucet off? Like, at the time I was 29, 28, 29, and why would I turn any faucet off when I had all these faucets flowing, when let's just say the plan was to go full-time crypto and put all your money and money go moon? Why would I turn the faucet off when I could have taken that faucet and routed that water into crypto? It just didn't make any sense. So I know that some people that are in this situation are probably worried and whatever, but like, times like these, guys, allow you to get like a reality check and take a step back and look and realize, like, well, hey, maybe sometimes things that are too good to be true actually end up being too good to be true. Maybe it's not as easy as just click button and become millionaire. Okay. So that being said, big green flag for the Zoomers. Like, you guys have unlimited time and you don't have to rush. All right. You don't have to rush. And I think, rushing is probably not the optimal path, for being honest. Okay. It's doable and you have to be willing to suffer, but why would you choose to do something that you had to rush when you could, if you had the choice now and you could have gone back and started earlier, you'd be probably a little bit better off. So, my distinguished gentlemen, one more thing I want to show you guys, and why I believe that now is also a very good time, other than just all the time, to start, is because of this. So if you guys take a look at this right here, and this is the
U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics.
All right. Now, this is released on May 3rd, so about 13 days ago, right? And behold, my friends, if you guys can see, and I will quote them, on the last business day of March, the number of job openings was little changed at 11.5 million. the highest level in the history of the series, which began in December 2000. So right now, and actually, hold on, let me zoom out because I'm sure you guys can't see that all the way. Right now, my friends, like we have, for all intents and purposes, the largest amount of job openings in the United States since this survey, since this statistic started being counted back in December of the year 2000. All right. If anything, with all the craziness going on, with all the economic uncertainty, if anything, if now was the time to get into IT, to learn how to do cybersecurity, to learn how to be a software developer, to learn how to code, or to literally learn anything as easy as like, or simplistic, excuse me, not easy. Somebody that I know who's a viewer of the show would have got upset if I said that. As simplistic or as what you would consider to be mundane as fucking plumbing, guys. Any kind of hard skill, now is the time. As you guys can see, the crypto markets and the stock markets might not be in that good right now, but the job markets in the United States are. And nobody wants to fucking work in 2022 for whatever reason. No offense, you guys. All y'all are a bunch of big pampered. All right. Everyone is just, I guess, so accustomed to living off of the Biden USD airdrops that nobody wants to work anymore. All right. But, and this is, I think this number is a direct reflection of that. So let that be a fortuitous event for you guys. Like if you're out there and you're wondering, it's now the time, and you didn't listen to anything that I said before in the stream, and no, that didn't mean anything to you, in my opinion, didn't mean anything, well, then at least the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics might mean something to you. So, as always, guys, learn how to code, learn to change your own tire, self-custody your own crypto, link in the description box below for all the above, except for changing your own tire, because I'm not going to be able to help you guys with that. Unfortunately, you guys are going to have to go and look up a YouTube video on your own how to do that. But hey, maybe one day I should actually make a video on that for you guys. Salutations, my friends. That is it, and that is all. And I will see you guys very soon. See ya.